Hello beloveds, thank you for watching and welcome to another edition of the Our Workings Online. My name is Golden and I am the voice of our ancestors. Okay, this video is a continuation of the previous video that I made on consciousness. On the previous video that I was trying to look at how we can identify the consciousness that we exist from. And in that video, I did talk about it's either you exist and it's shaped by the matrix consciousness, or it is shaped by your soul consciousness. So if you have time, you can watch that video, because if you watch that particular video, then the information on this video, you get more understanding from on the information that I will be sharing on this video. And then on this particular video, we're still going to continue looking at how we exist, whether we exist from our soul consciousness or we exist from the matrix consciousness. But then on this particular video, I will be laying emphasis, okay, on what those that are teaching us about the conscious and the subconscious mind, or the power of your subconscious mind, are teaching us. I'm going to link that with our existence as well. Okay. And the reason why it's important, this topic is important, because for us to actually be able to find back ourselves out of the spiritual manipulation, we then need to understand consciousness first. Okay, because we exist from a consciousness, and then if we exist from a consciousness and understanding that consciousness is spiritual, consciousness, it's not a thing that you can touch, you see, it's spiritual. Okay, then it wouldn't be easier for us to actually be able to understand the spiritual manipulations that we are facing as well. Okay, yeah, those that are teaching us about the conscious and the subconscious mind, this is what they are telling us. They are telling us that whatever perceptions that obsess your conscious mind, okay, and with feelings attached to those perceptions, they will be eventually buried into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind will then find a way to manifest those perceptions to you, or to create those perceptions to you. And the reason why I actually look at what they are saying is because when you go back to history, a lot of people have been trying to look to a solution to human problem, and philosophers, they've done that. Okay, we have a lot of philosophers, yeah, and you see, even though at times you see even in their own search, going inward to actually search inward, okay, you see you see their own limitations, or how they were lost in their own search. I'm not saying that I'm right or I have the ultimate answer, but then let's get an understanding of our souls and the intelligence that we can walk from, and that intelligence of our soul consciousness that can guide us, which we know it's inward, it's something that is within us. Okay, and we'll start finding ourselves from there. When we find ourselves from there, then maybe it will be easier for us to actually then look for a solution to human problems like they were doing. But then they were doing, most of them, I didn't actually hear of any of them trying to identify that the existence, it comes from two consciousness. Okay, yeah, maybe I still need to do that research and get to understand more. But then you need to understand that we have a matrix consciousness that has an intelligence that determines our existence, and there's also our soul consciousness that has an intelligence that determines our existence. Okay, so looking from the idea that those that are teaching us about the subconscious and the conscious mind, in telling us that whatever perceptions that you obsess your conscious mind, your subconscious, your conscious mind, if they obsess your conscious mind, your subconscious mind would eventually have the power to create that. And I agree with that. Well, I agree with that. This is because when you start linking that to your soul, knowing that your soul comes from the source, and the source is creation, the source has the power to create, then you start knowing that, okay, if you were to grow in that knowing of your soul, if you were to get a full understanding, or if you were to belong, okay, to your soul consciousness and get to exist in that knowing of your soul, okay, then it will be easier for you to create. You see, to create, you know, as you create. And we all know that creation, it's a process. There is no creation that is not a process. And while would you be creating, you will be creating your purpose. You will be creating as per your purpose, or in line with your purpose. And because, like I always say, we or you are God manifesting a purpose. Okay? You are God manifesting a purpose. So God manifested a purpose through you. So that is why you are here. You are here for a purpose. You did not just come to jump into this realm and just tomorrow they say it's this that people are supposed to be doing. You then become that. The next day, society is saying that you must become this one, and you become what the society wants you to be, and never, ever visited or have the opportunity to know exactly what you came here for, your purpose. And the matrix consciousness, or the manipulator, because the matrix consciousness has a manipulator that is manipulating this consciousness. Okay? And so, and that, remember, it's a control game. They have to control you. They have to control you. And they cannot control you without giving you an intelligence. So they give you an intelligence. They indoctrinate an intelligence on you so as to be able to control you. So from birth, most of us, we were not given that opportunity to walk as per the intelligence of our soul, that compass within. No, we were taken away. There is an intelligence that was structured already for us, so that we develop and become conscious as per that what that intelligence wanted us to become. And that is not the only intelligence that is available. And guys, like I said, your own personal intelligence, it is available. But who would want to choose the intelligence that was created for them over their personal intelligence, over their source, over who they are? And knowing that the source is infinite, and what is created, it's just, it means that they cage you so that you exist as per how they want you to exist. But you are a whole existence. You are a whole existence, and you have been caged just through consciousness. And finding back yourself, you need to understand consciousness. Okay? And understanding consciousness, you need to know the consciousness that guides your existence. And to find that consciousness that guides your existence, you need to start asking questions in truth and asking, how do I exist? Who am I? Why am I here? A lot of us, we've never actually taken time to ask a question to ourselves, or to reassess ourselves and to check, who am I? Or why am I here? Okay? Most of us, we think that we are here because whatever or wherever the wind wants to push us to, we should fall there. No. And that is because the matrix has taken us away from who we are and we don't belong anymore. And that is the confusion. That is what they actually wanted to achieve. And they achieved this, guys, through desperation. They create desperation at every level, because in desperation you will hardly connect. So they have to create desperations at every level. Okay, and that is how you belong to that consciousness, because when they've created these desperations, and you start tuning in to wherever they want you to be desperate into. Okay, I'm not saying that all the desperations are bad. Some are good desperations, but then that will be a topic for another day. But then existence comes from a consciousness. Okay, and that consciousness should be having an intelligence, and then the consciousness that is governing most of our intelligence is the matrix consciousness. And at the top of the tools that is used to develop that intelligence is a religion, and that is why God is that important. And that's this topic, it is important because we are spiritual beings. Okay, we are not humans seeking a spiritual experience like religions that lie to us. We are spirits seeking a human experience. And being the spirit, and guys, spiritual, it's consciousness. So God is not, I always say God is not a man, it's not a woman, it's not a God. That heaven is a lie. God doesn't have a place that he stays there that they call a heaven that has a kingdom with a throne with golden seats. No, that concept is crap. How can we how do we believe in that? God is spiritual, and spiritual is consciousness. Okay, and you coming from that consciousness means you are spiritual first. Okay, and that is why we are spiritual before human, not human before spiritual, like religion is telling us. Or they're teaching us that we have to wait for a spirit to descend onto us somewhere. No, we are spiritual. We are spiritual. We just have to be conscious spiritually. We just have to be conscious spiritually. And being conscious spiritually means that you're tapping into the intelligence of your soul consciousness, of the source where you come from. Okay, and not walking or not existing according to the intelligence of the matrix consciousness, which is through institutions. You see exactly how they have structured these institutions that will determine exactly who you become or who you've become today. You see exactly those institutions. You see how it's structured politically. You see everything. Okay, so that consciousness exists from an individual level right up to the collective. And that consciousness has a manipulator, and that is a matrix consciousness marked by deceptions at all levels, creating deceptions. I mean, it's by even religion, which is at the hem of that consciousness, is marked by lies. That's why we are not able to tap into the intelligence of our soul consciousness, because the main aim for religion was to detach us from that consciousness, from our source, where we come from. Because when we are detached from our source, where we come from, then we will not get into that knowing that will not, because when we get into our knowing, they will not be able to control us. Okay, but then if we are able to get into that level of knowing, they will not be able to control us. So what they have to do now is they create an intelligence, and from childbirth we were indoctrinated into this intelligence, which is the matrix consciousness. I'm not saying that learning, there should be no learning from childbirth. No, there's supposed to be learning, but that learning should not be a learning that shapes your mind to fit somebody's agenda, forgetting your own purpose and completely taking you away from your own purpose. Learning should be that learning that guides you on how you manifest from your purpose, how you create your purpose, how you exist from the infinite. You see, because your source is infinite. It's infinite. Yeah, it's infinite. So they cannot cage you. Caging you means that they limit all the opportunities that, or everything that you could have, every talent that you could have exhibited was limited. Every inspiration that you could have actually come up with was limited. And that's how we were caged, okay, into this consciousness, which is the matrix consciousness. And understanding the matrix consciousness, it's understanding exactly the tools that are put in place, or the institutions that are put in place to develop this consciousness. Religion being one of them, which is at the top, education being the other one. We start looking at, there are other structures, the political system, the military, and everything, the media, and they tell us exactly how they want us to be, and without ever telling us that no, you can actually live, exist from within, and know from within, and you offer to the world, okay, to humanity, as per your purpose, creating through your purpose. So those that are teaching, those that are teaching us about the conscious and the subconscious mind, or let me say the power of your subconscious mind, they were the closest to actually understand the problem to to actually find out the problem, the solution to human problem. Okay, because they started looking at how we can use our minds to create. Okay, and the reason why I think most of them they go through this, it's because they're looking for a solution to human challenges. Okay, and they start getting to that inward, getting to that, and that understanding that no, within you have the power to create. Okay, you have the power to create. So in their own findings, calling it the conscious and the subconscious mind, then it makes sense, because they find a way to actually help you to create. You see, to create to create from the power within, the power that you have, the power of your soul. Even though your soul has been disconnected from the intelligence of your original consciousness, and you belong to the matrix consciousness, but then they're teaching you how you can use that power within, because you have that power already to create. You are part of creation, so your soul has the ability to create. But remember, every creation is a process. Just like the fruits, the trees that they grow and they bear us fruit, there is a process. But then finding yourself out of this consciousness, it's then very, very important. You see, because when you see that is you getting back into your higher self. Okay, guys, there's no harm. It's like I always tell people, I'm not starting a church, and I'm not online asking for donations. No, I am online because I feel worried seeing billions of people being misled away from who they are, from a power that is within them, just because someone wants to be able to control, and they limit the entire creation, they limit creation, or the distract creation. You see, or they change the direction of creation just because they want to be in control. You see, we limit creation, we limit ourselves in a way that we create based on how they want us to create. Because if we are able to create from within, from the source, they will not be able to control us. So guys, finding back your soul consciousness then becomes very important, and that is a journey that you have to take inward. It's an inward journey. You have to go inward, start connecting back to yourself, ask the right question, ask in truth, and it's true. Seek and you shall find. And you can only seek and you find in truth, because you can only get into a clarity of your soul consciousness through righteousness. And righteousness means it's truth. You can only do that in truth. You see what we call intuition, it's not actually intuition. Intuition, it's your soul. After fighting from the matrix conscious, or fighting with the matrix, or trying to survive within the matrix consciousness, or because of pain within the matrix consciousness, or because of an emergency or something, then you get that into you're able to tap back into the intelligence of your soul consciousness. Your soul is able to tap back into that intelligence. So there's nothing as intuition. Intuition is actually you when you going back into self and tapping back into the power of the self. So guys, connecting back, you need to start being aware. Start being aware, connect back to nature. Know that God is consciousness and spiritual. God is spiritual and spiritual is consciousness. And your soul is spiritual and spiritual is consciousness. And God is creator and you come from an image of God. Okay, and so you are part of creation. So your soul, that is also spiritual, which comes from that God consciousness, has the ability to create. You have the power within you to create your desires righteously without hurting anyone. And guys, you can only create in that direction when you're not creating to hurt anyone. You see, you have that power within you to create all your desires. All. But remember, creation has a process. So I can actually advise people to actually go and read books of those who are teaching us about the conscious and the subconscious mind and the power within the conscious and the subconscious mind in trying to find yourself, especially when you're trying to connect back, because you will then start getting more understanding as you start walking and you start going deeper into the intelligence of your soul consciousness. Then you start looking at what those that are teaching us about the conscious and the subconscious mind, you start looking at how their teachings are aligning. Somehow there's an alignment. So that's why I said they were close to finding that solution. But guys, this is just my own journey. Even though from my soul consciousness that I belong to now, I have been able to meet, because when you finally connect back to your soul consciousness and you start getting benefiting from the intelligence of your soul consciousness, it's easy to identify your soul tribe, because just through their intelligence, just through talking, when they talk, you know that this one got knowledge from here. You know where that knowledge, descended knowledge, is coming from, you know. So guys, try to connect back through nature. Connect back. No, God is nature. Connect back to nature. Through music that resonates, music that is there to connect you, to tune you in, because music is very, very important as well. Okay, question everything, question anything before you accept anything to be the word of God. Question it, because the word of God has so much weight on your soul. Okay, so question whatever that tell is the word of God. Question it and forgive yourself from that lie to us that we were created or were born with original sins. That is a lie, and that is part of the spiritual dominations that we face, and that was put onto us by the matrix consciousness, and using religion to actually dampen our souls with that concept that we were born sinners. And remember that when you ask, and why this is so important, the concept of being that you were born with sin is so important, is because when you are conscious that you are a sinner, okay, you do not ascend spiritually. Remember, you need to stay ascended for you to be able to tap into the intelligence of your soul consciousness. You need to stay ascended spiritually. Guys, share with me your own thought on the comment section below. Let's discuss. It's an important topic. It is about us. Let's discuss. Let's learn. Let's find back ourselves. Okay. Thank you. Peace and blessing to all. Let's rise from this life.